Hello humans, and welcome back to week 4 of Fire Emblem Monopoly. This week was a pretty good week overall. Don't worry, the drama was definitely there, but overall, I think we've taken a bit of a week to breathe and recompose ourselves after the last couple of weeks being absolutely insane. Also, if you guys are enjoying these, leave me a like, share them with your friends, help boost them up, and let's get more people in on the fun. I'm trying to sort of revive the YouTube channel, so every little bit helps. Alrighty, time for chapter 10. So, I think this chapter is quite a bit more difficult than people give it credit for. You've got Innis, JaeAIK, and Tethys all inside a small fort that has its opening facing south, and you can't fly over the walls, so you're forced to loop around. You have a decent chunk of enemies between you and the fort, as well as a group of enemies that rushes from the south. Marissa is also at the bottom of the map, and she's a recruitable red unit with a group of enemies that follows upwards a couple of turns later. Aside from that, the general difficulty lies in how quickly you can get to those units to recruit them. Now, we have a bigger problem than that. In essence, if we can keep the green units alive, they'll all auto-recruit at the end of the map. But getting to them and keeping them alive with the units we do have is a slight challenge. On-map recruitment is also interesting. The only one who can recruit Innis is Jay, either with Tana or with Erica. And only Innis, who I have, can recruit Tethys, who's also mine, and JaeAIK, who is Speedy's. Innis is a solid unit to start out with, and remains so into the endgame. And Tethys is a dancer who, while frail, is also a great asset to give your best unit another turn or help with training purposes. She's definitely going to be a target of Sabotage, as it'll be quite easy for the boys to get her killed off, but I should at least make use of her while I have her, as she's also invaluable for doing things like getting boss kills and keeping up with the general pace. Now, for these couple chapters, I don't really have much to do, so I'd been thinking about how it would be best to deny Speedy the JaeAIK recruitment because he's a really strong unit. Speedy is way behind on points, so I honestly don't really mind letting him have him, but it has crossed my mind a little bit. The only way to deny the JaeAIK recruitment is to have Tethys die on this chapter. As a green unit, she's susceptible to getting hit a lot by the ballista, but she has healing AI and enough items to keep her alive through all 5 shots. She also won't dance or rush down, so the enemies would really have to run in and get her. I kept it in the back of my mind, but unfortunately as we were clearing the chapter, we were in a bit of a pickle. As you can see, Colm gets hit by a sleep staff with a hit rate in the 30s. Interestingly enough, I did some research, and for some reason, status staves in the GBA FE games actually operate off 1 RN. So yeah, those 30s hitting don't seem all that outrageous now that I know this little piece of information. Anyways, everyone kind of panics because at this point we're playing as a team and we really don't want to lose Colm. We're kind of working together to clear this run, but I have moved Innis a bit further away last turn and kept him in range of Tethys just in case, and out of range of JaeAIK just in case Speedy thought to sabotage. Gilliam was also making his way downtown, trying to walk fast, but luckily it set me up for a nice chain of big brain FE movement chain manipulation. I moved Innis.
The thing about having played Fire Emblem for a while is you
sometimes
sometimes
the next turn it puts me at
Answer
risk of being
strats.
sabotaged.
Alright, wait, hold
by
on.
their
Never mind.
recruitment,
I don't know why I did
but
that,
had
but,
to save Colm.
I'll fix it.
Tethys was recruited, Gilliam moved his full range, got danced, and then swooped in to rescue
Are you gonna
Colm
rescue
while
Gilliam?
blocking the choke point at the
He's got 4 speed, he's gonna double anyways. Oh, my
Gilliam
hero.
had his weapon broken at that point, so
Dude,
he
that
was
is
just
damage
a
is so
shield,
great.
but he got the job done nonetheless, and that's all that matters.
That was a good
For
play.
some reason,
That was a good play.
Speedy didn't
Sacrificing
sabotage
Gilliam to
here,
what? He's got
despite
14
being in
defense.
reach of JaeAIK. I thought he would, since the recruitment of Marissa hinges on
Nice.
JaeAIK being the one being able to recruit her, and so he would need to recruit him to recruit her. This allowed me to move Innis back out of range and down towards the group of enemies that we needed to get rid of. Marissa came up and started attacking Gilliam, and Speedy says, "I might have to put you down."
I gotta put her down. I'm sorry, Marissa. I gotta put you down.
I guess he said it jokingly, but I did kind of take it literally there and just took the chance and one-shot her with a silver bow to the face.
Don't do it. Oh my, you're a dickhead.
You killed Raven!
Suck my balls. That's it. This is war.
It's war.
Wait, I'm not done with
shit.
my turn.
Wait,
What?
I might use my sabotage here.
Ooh, using it for JaeAIK and not...
No. I'm gonna
Automatic?
put her right in range here.
Then you lose JaeAIK.
I don't give a shit. You killed Marissa.
To be honest, I didn't plan on recruiting Garrick this chapter with Innis regardless, so what's the point of leaving her remain a thorn in our side for the rest of the chapter? I also kind of need a dead unit to put in the thumbnail, so it all works out for me at least. My revenge for the Raven kill from last series is not done yet. It didn't just cost me Raven, but also Lucius, and he did slaughter Heath too, so call me petty if you wish, but he'd do the same thing in my shoes. I also didn't remember this, but apparently recruiting Marissa also spawns a ton of reinforcements, which we aren't too equipped to deal with at this point, so I'm glad I killed her and made the chapter easier on us. Marissa isn't a strong unit, and I doubt she catches up without some excessive babying anyways. Also, no one offered me an olive branch. No bargain, no deals, nothing, so why should I remain a pacifist? Doesn't make sense. Regardless, Speedy gets upset. Jay is laughing in the background as usual, and I move Gilliam out of the way as a joke to scare him, fully knowing that I planned on bringing Innis to kill a couple of those units after and block the way anyways. Speedy was pretty pissed at this point, said he didn't care, didn't want to play anyways, so I was like, alright. Instead of attacking with Innis, I just ended my turn. I knew Natasha was in range of the Myrmidon, and had he not said anything, I would have killed that Myrmidon, but because he did, why not mess with him a little bit more and let Natasha get attacked? Now, no one is going to believe me when I say this because of my track record, and it probably looks like I think things through 100 times over before I make a move. I don't always do that, and I think a big indicator of that is me letting Kyle get dangerously low on HP, get sabotaged, and have him die. If I had thought ahead there, I probably would have healed with the elixir and sort of not had him be in sabotage death range. Sometimes I just don't see things. And in that moment, I genuinely did miss the archer being in range of her there, and when I did see him after I ended my turn, I thought maybe he'd have like an iron bow and she'd be fine. Believe what you want, the archer ended up having a steel bow, and Natasha nearly died there to the combo of Myrmidon and archer. Little bit of a scare, but hey, it's content. Don't worry, she managed to stay alive for the next chapter, but honestly, Speedy doesn't even heal my units anyways, so like, do I really gain anything from protecting her in return as well? I know we were working as a team a little bit in the last chapter, but like, is one chapter enough? The Speedy J alliance is strong as ever, and even though they did help me gain levels on Colm, after me killing Marissa this chapter and being ahead on points, I'm definitely in the crosshairs. They're treading a fine line of letting me live long enough to keep the run alive, but the moment my usefulness starts to dwindle and they have strong enough characters, I'll be thrown to the wolves to die in the ugliest way that will be humanly imaginable. Speedy still has a sabotage on board that will 100% be used to kill off one of my units, and then they both get one more, and I fully expect that they will also be used to target me as well. Anyways, I've talked for a long time just for this chapter, so I'll briefly say that we took it slow to get to the boss, and then I used Innis with a pure water to kill him and get the objective, and a guiding ring. Between the goddess icon that Tethys has, the white gem from Innis, and the guiding ring from Pablo, that's a total of 19,000 gold that I've just acquired in terms of funds, so I'm actually doing very well financially. I think Speedy does want that guiding ring, so I'll keep it on Tethys for now as maybe a future olive branch peace offering if shit starts to go down, because I know it will. If he sabotages her to death, the ring is lost, but he might be willing to do that anyways and not care, so we'll see what the future holds. Alright, on to Chapter 11, The Great La Rochelle Rescue. So, this chapter, from what I remember, is pretty boring. There are two ways to get to La Rochelle. You either go from the left side, which is a bit faster, but the boss is on the way and there are some forests that'll slow down your progress. Or you go from the right, which is slightly longer but has a couple of chests and is easier to maneuver. I decided to go down the left side, and the other two and their alliance went down the right. The nice thing about the left side is that it's a hallway that is 1 square wide. It lets me easily choke point with Colm, hide in the forests, and bring up the rear with Innis sniping from behind while Tethys dances for the both of them. I managed to get a bunch of kills, including the boss, which fulfills the objective, and I stayed away from competition. This was a pretty chill chapter for me, honestly, and I was never really in any danger whatsoever. On the other hand, the boys going down the right side had quite the scare. The bottom right door apparently gets opened at some point. Not sure what the trigger for that is. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But that lets a bunch of enemies fly in and attack all at once. Given the fact that most of their units are pretty frail and at risk of death, not to mention La Rochelle being in direct danger, they needed to come up with a quick plan to try and figure things out. They made the smart and bold decision to commit to saving La Rochelle and not retreat, and it worked out very well for them. Since Arthur is a bishop, he has the Slayer skill, which let him one-round almost every monster on the map, and really help clean things up. And JaeAIK is a Chad, he put in a bunch of work too. Both La Rochelle and Dozla were recruited, and suddenly Speedy's roster looks quite nice with some strong beefy carries like Dozla and JaeAIK, as well as Arthur as a support. If I were to look objectively at the rosters right now, Speedy does have the strongest one. He's got a healer and a support unit, he's got a tank in Dozla, and he's got a pretty good DPS, boss killer, nuke character in JaeAIK. Unfortunately, Arthur's magic growths have been beyond abysmal. I legit don't remember the last time a unit has missed this many 50% chances to level up a stat, but in maps with monsters that won't matter anyways because Slayer is that strong. Jay gets La Rochelle, which I don't think he really cares that much about, and we move on to the next chapter. If you guys thought the Great La Rochelle rescue is over, well, I have news for you. It isn't. Chapter 12 sucks. And I don't say that because I think it's difficult or anything, it's because the chapter is genuinely boring. It's a winding path through the mountains and it's a route map, meaning you have to kill every enemy. I don't really have much to gain this chapter, so I decide I'm just gonna go for the objective like I did in the last one, kill things and move along at an acceptable pace. Jay has flyer utility, so he rescues Saleh and drops him on the other side of the mountain, which doesn't really speed things up too much since by the time he does that, I get there around the same time. But he leaves La Rochelle kind of behind, and we all of a sudden get bombarded by reinforcements from the back. Now, Speedy has a vested interest in La Rochelle, given his content connections as well as his chat bias, and so he feels morally obligated to go and save her. If I was him, I sure as hell would not risk my units to do that, but he felt strongly about it, so he doubled back with his entire force of Dozla, JaeAIK, Arthur, and Natasha. Heck, even Jay didn't care and was happy enough to let Speedy risk his neck to save her without even considering it. I kind of found this weird, because all he had to do was fly back over the mountains with Tana and rescue her over. I think preventing a -30 is much more valuable than trying to rush a 5-point objective, so that was a little bit confusing, but maybe he knew that Speedy was going to go all in to save her, so he rolled the odds on that instead. If Speedy loses a unit trying to do that, then it's no skin off Jay's back, but it's not really affecting me either, so I don't know. I thought they were in an alliance, and Jay clearly did not go to help. At one point, it got pretty dicey as one of those flyers had an Axe Reaver and was really hurting Dozla pretty badly. He dropped down to 4 HP, but was safe after that. There was another sequence of events where Arthur could have also potentially died, but he only needed to dodge one of the 3 attacks, and they were all 50-50, so that was a little bit less stressful. We've gotten hit by worse RNG, but hey, it worked out. Speedy was successful, and he accomplished the rescue mission, which was pretty impressive. And while he did that, Jay and I were at the top of the map competing for the boss kill. Luckily for me, the boss has 42 HP, and Innis does 14 damage per round. That means that dancing him with Tethys gets me to 28 damage and leaves just enough damage for a 1 round on enemy phase. I decided, you know what? I'm not in a good position. I have to roll the dice on being attacked from range by his steel bow on enemy phase. Jay had Saleh in range, and I wasn't sure which one of us would be attacked, but thankfully it was Innis, and I managed to go 3 for 3 on objectives this stream, which was pretty huge. Each one of those boss kills also gives promoted units a level up, so it's a total of 7 points to round out each chapter, totaling to a whopping 21 just from boss kills alone. I killed off another promoted unit with Calm to get another level up, and then we ended the chapter with no casualties. So as I was writing back this script, I went and took a look at all of the objectives that I have gotten, and I've actually gotten most of them in this run. I think I got chapter 4s, I got 5x, and then I got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all in a row. So I've gotten 5 of 5 of the last objectives, which is kinda nuts in terms of points. If you wanna factor in, like recalculate it again, that's 25 points in objectives, and then if it's 5 level ups each, that's 35 points in total. All of this puts me up ahead of Jay by 81 points total and ahead of Speedy by 90. My lead at the end of last week was 53 points, so that's a 28-point increase in margin, and those 21 from objectives just in this stream were a pretty big chunk of it. Accomplishing that with just Calm, Innis, and Tethys as my units is honestly mind-boggling. I'm sure this is going to put an even bigger target on my back in the coming chapters, not to mention my shenanigans in Chapter 10, so I have to be careful. Chapter 13 is up next, another one that might be rough for us, but I think it'll be fun. Cormac is up next, and for some reason, Speedy struck up a deal with Jay to give him an Elysian Whip if he agrees to recruit Cormac for him, so Speedy's roster is going to get even stronger. So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is another chapter where I probably just bide my time and try to push forward. Maybe I can kill one of the bosses. I think... Oh, there's 2 of them, and it's kind of a defend chapter. That'll be interesting to see. Regardless, I'm definitely on my own out here, so I gotta watch my back, but the next stream should be an interesting one. But that's a story for another week. I'll see you all on stream Friday. We're back to Fridays for the next 2 weeks, and I'll see you all in the next video very soon. Peace.